was planning on watching Heated Rivalry, and I still want to, but I just was on Netflix and something has caught my eye. Understanding the description correctly, there's a bunch of college students, one of them dies, and the others are potentially trapped in a deadly game. But also at the same time, and perhaps more importantly, there's these two detectives who are like on the case, but they're also super into each other. And it's kind of everything I've ever needed in a TV show. Like, there's murder mystery, cat and mouse game, but there's also like an inexplicable romance. Like, the bodies are going to be piling up, and also these two dudes have this insane tension. Really sorry, Heated Rivalry, but this is going to take priority, and I'll keep y'all updated as the episodes come out. Hi, so I watched the first episode of Dare You to Death, and it is everything I expected it to be, but also somehow more. So here are my highlights. It's Jade. He is a part of the police force, kind of loose cannon, party boy. Peep his hair, it'll be important later. And then this is Inspector Common, also peep his hair. He studied abroad in the States, and he's kind of more plays by the rules, strict. There was like a college party with some of these kids, and then one of them suddenly turned up dead, but that's not important because now these guys are staring at each other, and he's basically said, hey, what if we make this into a competition? You have to take me seriously if I solve the case before you. And Common says, why would we turn the public suffering into a game? Then Jade is like, oh, you're a chicken. And he's like, all right, bet, I'll win. And then now they're like standing very close to each other while the guitar plays in the background. Music always plays here like every 5 seconds, which is something. It sets a mood for sure. But I really think the tagline for this show is, why is the public suffering while we are playing this game? And the game is going to be their feelings. So it turns out Captain Jade's brother is one of the suspects in this murder, and he's being let in for questioning. But that's not even the important thing right now, because look at his hair, it's completely different. And his hair is also kind of different, but really it's his hair that's like changed. And it's not bad. I just feel like a hairstylist has come in every take to like do something different with both their hairs, but especially his. And I find that really fun. It makes them swoopy as possible, the hair, that is. We have 3 female roles so far, 2 of which are suspects, and then the other one is the dead victim. This is Belle, one of them, and she's I kind of stan her so far because she's giving such like a don't give a fuck shit eating grin while being interrogated that it's kind of funny to me. And this is Shireen, the other suspect. She seems really nice. That usually means in these types of shows that like the nice girl is holding a secret and she's either like the mastermind or like hates the dead character or whatever, but I like her fit and I like her vibe, so I'm gonna stan her too. Pointing out his hair once more, it is once again different. Pointing out his hair and how it's different, this is I think like an hour later from the previous scene, and it's the perfect curl right there. I know that must have taken a while with gel, but they did my boy so dirty. They brushed out his bangs. It actually doesn't look terrible. It's just, once again, this is minutes after the previous scene. Oh, and one of the suspects got this threatening truth or dare card because they were playing truth or dare when the girl died, but that's clearly not important because now the 2 boys are at a club. They're investigating some drug dealing stuff. It has something to do with the case, but it's barely tangential because look, now they're fake dating already in the first episode. They move so fast. And then like 10 seconds later, this rando starts flirting with the Inspector Common, and Jade gets jealous and pulls him close and then flashes the random dude his gun. I guess we're at that level already? They go to bust the drug deal operation, and a guy comes with a gun, and he, like, quote-unquote saves him by pushing him 2 feet away, and somehow that works and saves his life. I don't even think the other guy shot his gun yet, but what do I know? Anyways, they're having a moment and having a drink. You know, a fun debrief after a shootout. And then they close out on this moment where he's like being drunk and flirty and says the only person that can boss me around is the owner of my heart. So basically he'll only be submissive for his lover and not his boss inspector yet. Overall, stellar work so far. A lot of music that comes in very randomly, but that I can deal with that. And the other note I guess I have is I do actually want to know what's up with the murder mystery, because I feel like there's a lot of tea there that's yet to unpack, but I also recognize what the show is about. So hopefully it'll unfold more, and I'll keep y'all posted. Hello, I hope everyone has had a good holiday or just a winter break or whatever you want to celebrate. You know, Christmas Day, got the best present, episode 2 of Dare You to Death. Couldn't watch it for a couple days, but now here's my recap. Trigger warning, one of the characters, Tar, it's revealed that, and I'm putting it much more mildly than the show did, he takes girls to clubs, puts stuff in their drink, and then they end up in hotel bedrooms with him where stuff happens. I'm not going to talk about it too much in the show. It is there, it is present. Tar is a prominent person this episode, but he also gets murdered this episode. So that kind of thing makes you uncomfortable. Totally valid. Would not watch this episode. With that out of the way, let's get into it. This is Tar, the guy who sucks. He got a truth or dare card telling him to come to this bar, and he also got all these threatening photos too. We're only in the beginning of episode 2, and this is already, I feel like, a top 5 hair moment, because, like, you see there's this thing going here, and then it's going that way, and then you have this. It's pretty primo. Good job, Jade. Doctor here revealed that the victim had, like, a lethal injection of 3 different drugs. She was probably, like, poisoned / murdered by somebody. But I just want to note, it looks like they put a ton of effort into his appearance. So that makes me think he's important. He also took a phone call the night of the murder, so I feel like he's going to turn out to be somebody. Playing back the episode, and I realize this man, the forensic doctor, he is in the intro. He's 4th billing in the intro, so that must mean he's important, right? Right? Shireen, the nice girl, is hanging out with the victim's boyfriend, and she is kind of flirting just to get his politician to help her out in an investigation, but it also kind of feels like they're going to be revealed to having an affair, because that's usually how these things go. No one ever has a faithful boyfriend in, like, college murder mysteries. This has nothing to do with the plot. I just like this shot. I like the framing of it. It feels pretty cinematic, even though he's doing kind of a goofy little pose. Tar's at this bar, he's stressed out of his mind, so his friend hooks him up with an escort to blow off steam, because that is the rational thing to do in a situation like this. Tar is making out with a girl. It's consensual. That's not the point of this. I just want to point out the minions here. I don't know if the, like, production designer added them or if they just came with the location, but they're important to me. This masked dude comes along and starts beating up Tar and being very threatening with a bat. We've got a mask reveal. I actually kind of like it. Then the scene gets a little intense. I'm glossing over it once more, but quick summary. The masked person forces Tar to pick truth or dare. Tar picks truth, and he admits that Pui Fai, the victim, was one of the girls he brought to the hotel bedroom before. And then he gets stabbed in the heart and all of his limbs with a metal pipe, so that's the end of that. Look at his micro expressions. His eyes were just moving so much. He clearly wants to fuck this guy. So Jade goes, you need to sleep well or else you're gonna, like, die young. And then basically Common says, when I sleep and when I die are my own problems. And mood, man. He's becoming more and more relatable by the minute. More silly, goofy times. He puts some evidence in his pocket because he wants the other guy to go take it, and then this happens. You know, just fun antics post a murder. Here we go. It's time for our legally mandated reach over for the car belt moment. Inspector Common goes to stay the night at Jade's house because he does that. and retreated to a scene of Jay being shirtless. They also interrogate his brother, but that doesn't reveal anything. I think this is the hair moment of Common for this episode. It just looks really soft. That's it. Episode ends on these two being like, oh, his brother's a dumbass, but we're gonna protect him anyways. So that's actually kind of cute. They're all friends now. And to close things out, we get this kind of moment. The micro expressions, love it. He's also shirtless, so to even out the score, I guess. It's the end of episode 2. We got more focus on the mystery, which I wanted. Tar sucks as a human being, but he's dead, so we don't have to deal with him too much. Tonkla, another one of the kids, is next to receive the letter, so, he's probably next on the list to be threatened, possibly be murdered. Who knows? We won't find out for a minute because the next episode is January 8th, but when it comes out, I will recap it. Peace. Hello, welcome to episode 3 of my recap of Dare You to Death. If it sounds like I have a cold, it's because I do, but my need to recap this Thai BL show to you all is so important that we're just gonna power through. Also, I have a stylist, so now I look even more cool and important while recapping this show. So we open on Tonkla basically asking him for some money, and he's like, you wasteful bitch, you're gonna just spend it on booze, live within your means. Tonkla proceeds to immediately hit somebody with his car and then run away from the scene, so that is how we open our episode. We're starting off the hair check with a background character. This is one of the forensic scientists or detectives or something. They're going over the case. The effort they put into that swoop hair behind the ear, I actually really love it. I love this haircut. So they go to see the forensic physician for the second murder, and he's like, oh, you're punctual. I love that. And he's like, you love punctuality? I love punctuality. And this man here is like, what the fuck? They're going over the autopsy, props to them for wearing protective gear. The physician's like, hey, can I have your number to, quote unquote, go over the case? And he's like, no, bitch, I don't text people, I only use email. And then he immediately gives his phone number to Captain Jade, because of course he does. Just note the hair for now. The next scene, the commander calls them in to show them something. Hair immediately in the face once more. I was mad that the second death made it to news, but of course it did. It was very brutal. And he's like, you guys need to solve this in 7 days, but you also can't talk to the politician's son, who's the most suspicious. That's how it goes. And he's very upset because he wants to prove himself. And he does a little fist clenchy, but then we get Jade holds Inspector Common back from decking the commander. It's so sweet. So their first course of action is to immediately bother the politician's son, who predictably gets angry at them for questioning him. And then this, not really fight, kind of three-way grope moment happens. And he just says, get out. You should be more careful. He's like, you don't gotta worry about me. And then Captain Jade responds with, I'm serious. If something happens to you, how am I supposed to live? And then, piano time. And then he says, I'll take care of myself. And I think they've known each other, the timeline's a little wonky. I think they've known each other for, I'm gonna say, 4 to 6 days. Also, I think this is my hair watch of the episode. I just kind of like it when it goes all over the place, artfully messy. I think it's fun. And then right after he showers, which is a goddamn shame, but I'm sorry, this Justin Bieber hair is inferior. What is going on up here? Tonkla gets beat up by loan sharks, but it's okay. Captain Jade, Inspector Common, and the brother Jay, for some reason, show up. They questioned Tongla, but he says he knows nothing, and he got a truth letter that, like, accuses him of knowing of all his friends doing, like, horrible things, but he kept quiet because he wanted money. Jumping in real quick with some plot points, because this is already getting pretty long. Queen Shireen called Tongla to admit that Puifei had her drug everyone to play a prank. Puifei, the murder victim. Shireen doesn't know what happened after that, though. And then secondly, Tongla admits to Jay that the killer sent him footage of him hitting somebody with his car. The politician somehow helped him cover it up, but Jay tells the inspector. Finally, Belle, the other girl, gets a letter that says, you beat up all these girls and even poured acid on one of them, so turns out they might all suck except for Jay. Inspector Common gets a call that apparently the drugs that were found on the murder victim are connected to some kind of case in Bangkok. I don't know. Basically, they're like, if this gets out, a lot of people could be going down. So I guess this is a plot point we have to be concerned for now. But it doesn't matter, because these people show to beat up Common as a warning, but Jade, like, comes out and protects him. They fend off the dudes, but not before Common gets a stab in the arm, and he goes down kind of like when football players get a tap to a shin and then they curl up in the fetal position. I'm sure it hurts, though, so I can't blame him. Then they're having this really tender, the AO3 tending to the wounds moment. Look at this eye acting. God bless. His micro expressions, amazing. We get a second wound treatment scene where Jade is like, take off your shirt so I can apply medicine to your bruises. He doesn't have any bruises. Interrupted by Belle being in the bath. Then the Truth or Dare guy shows up, accuses her of betraying Puifei, and pours acid on her. Good lord. Doesn't matter what happens to her, though, because then we cut back to these two dudes, and they're kissing now. Yay. But then the next day, Captain Jade is like, so what are we? And after he shoots down Inspector Common's friends with benefits and then situationship suggestion, that's literally what happens. Inspector Common is like, ha bitch, I don't have feelings for you, I'd rather date a dog, so of course the kiss meant nothing. So that's the end of episode 3. Belle kind of died pretty unceremoniously, but it turns out she sucks as well. I have a feeling everyone in the friend group sucks, except for Jay, probably. But, we got a kiss. It meant nothing. But I know how these AO3 tropes work, so it'll be good. Alright, I'm gonna wrap it up now, because my throat does kind of hurt. Alright, I'll see you next episode. Welcome to episode 4 of my recap of Dare You to Death. I hope everyone is doing as well as they can. Making a 7-minute recap did not do wonders for my cold from last week. I'm still a little congested, but it's basically over, so we'll get into it. So at the end of last episode, they were kissing, and now this episode opens up, and obviously, to him, the kiss meant nothing. Except it obviously did mean something to him. And of course it meant something to him too, and now he's all, like, confused, I guess. That's not gonna stop him from being shirtless. No siree. Somehow Common and Jay have become besties, and I can't really tell. I think there's supposed to be a strain between these two, but then they also, like, goof off together. I know brotherly love can be complicated. It's just, there's not, like, a clear definition of what's actually going on between them. He clearly cares about him, because he's like, bro, you can't go to school. Like, there is a murderer after all of you and your friends, so I'm gonna, like, you have to come with me to the precinct and I'll protect you. Except they go to the precinct. Shireen calls and is like, hey, I haven't seen Belle. Can you guys go check up on her? And they bring the brother instead of leaving him at the precinct with, like, somebody to watch over him. I don't know protocol, but I don't think that's usually what happens. I also want to highlight this elevator shot. It's pretty pointless because not really any information is communicated other than them traveling, but that looks like a fun elevator to be in. I don't know. They find Belle's body, R.I.P., and they call the team in to investigate. Who else shows up
But this dude from the last episode, he is back and he is ready to flirt with Inspector Common over a dead body once more. They have the wherewithal to not let the brother go upstairs into the room of the victim with them, but not to, like, send the whole forensic team and let the corpse, like, roll by him while he's waiting downstairs. So he's obviously freaked out. Hey, baby bro, are you okay? And he's like, fuck no, my friends are dying. I don't know what the hell's going on. And, you know, Jade, hugs him. So, brotherly bonding. Jay reveals that they were in the car when she, like, went to go pour acid on the girl in the parking lot. They didn't, like, help her pour acid on the girl, but they did stand by her after all that. And Jay's now like, I really thought I did the best I could. And it's like, buddy, you just let it happen. I don't know. This doesn't absolve you of anything. I like him, and I know he's supposed to be a good character, but this friend group fucking sucks. I'm gonna point out the hair for every single bit again this episode, but I will point out this, because this is a pretty good trio. You've got the curtain ass, whatever the fuck is going on over there. You can't even see his eyes, and then you've got the queen here. One tucked behind the back, one in front. I love it. Hers is my favorite of the episode. We are back in the morgue, and the forensic dude is trying to hit on Inspector Common over a corpse again, as you do. And he's like, can I have your number so I can let you know about stuff again? And he's like, you already gave you my email. And he's like, but what if I need to talk to you over the phone? So then Captain Jade, seething with jealousy, gives him his number, and he walks away, leaving him to, like, smile like a smug-ass cat, even though, you know, there's nothing going on between them. They're having a, what are we? I'm refusing to define anything. Sign the lease. I refuse to sign the lease. You know, the theme of this episode is, what are we? I'm not talking about it. They hold this ceremony / funeral for Belle, where Tonkla collects people's money, and Shireen sees him, and she's like, dude, you're, like, gonna steal that money to pay back your debt. Like, babe, you can't be mad at me. I protected you. When given the choice between either you or Belle dying, I chose Belle. And that's not protection, bub. That's not anything. You're not gonna, if the killer comes after her, you're not gonna be able to do shit, bruh. So just give it. Don't even. They're back at the precinct. He's trying to flirt with Inspector Common again by giving food, while he's obviously jealous about it. Captain Jade drags him out to go patrolling / away from the dude. Inspector Common is like, no, I'm not going with you. I have shit to do. But he's also like, oh, while you're on patrol, please be careful. I am worried about you. And this makes his whole fucking day. Oh, of course, not even 5 minutes into the patrol, we get a post-production car crash. Inspector Common gets a call from some anonymous person that's like, you're, like, playing too close with fire, buddy. Look what, like, reap your consequences. This is a warning. And he realizes he missed a bunch of calls from Jade, so now he's frantically going to search for him. And that's where we end the episode off. But not before we end with a bonus scene of them cuddling the night before, because you always gotta end with something romantic happening. So yeah, that was a lot of setup for the next episode, where I'm sure there'll be lots of hurt comfort, all that good stuff. Maybe another death. We'll see. But the next episode's not until the 22nd, so hopefully I'll be fully recovered by then if this didn't set me back again. But until then, do as well as you can, guys. Hello, episode 5 of Dare You to Death. For some reason, I thought it was coming out next week. It came out this week, so joyous occasion. Trigger warning for some non-consensual sex stuff and some suicide as revenge stuff. I'm not trying to downplay it. It's just tonally very Whiplash, because, like, half of this show is, like, BL fanfic antics, and then it kind of goes into this territory. So I just don't want to, like, dwell on it too hard, because the show also doesn't dwell on it too hard. But just obligatory, please take care of yourself. long story short, Time, one of the characters who doesn't show up in this episode, this is just mentioned, it turns out he films girls during intimate acts without their consent and sells them as clips online. Your victim, Pui Fai, was in one of those clips, and it is suggested that she killed herself upon suggestion of the murderer to, like, enact revenge. It's not confirmed, and I know Time, even though he hasn't appeared since episode 1, is probably gonna come back at some point. So, there you have it. And now, on to the episode. He is in the hospital. He is staring directly into the camera. This jump scared me when I first saw it. He's doing just fine, though, because he gets another kissy from Inspector Common. Common meets up with this dude that I don't recognize to talk about, apparently the drug dealer behind all the mysterious drugs subplot is named Sanjay, and they're like, we have to get Sanjay, especially now that he's hurt my guy. And Inspector Common says, I just don't want things to end up like it did back then, so, ooh, he has a mysterious past and probably a dead lover or something like that. Ooh. Inspector Common goes back to the hospital the next day to, among other things, wipe Captain Jade down, because Jade can't shower, I guess. There are no visible wounds on him. Shireen and Tonkla are both brought in for questioning. Champ is there to quote-unquote protect Shireen, but Tonkla is like, you know, you two slept together even before your girlfriend died. That's so sick. You suck, Champ. And he's like, Tonkla, you're a weak-ass bitch. She's like, guys, please stop fighting. Look, everyone in the friend group kind of sucks, but Shireen is the only, like, major female role at this moment, or at least the only one who's alive. So I kind of, I'm holding out hope for her, but we'll see. Common shows them the footage of Tonkla doing the hit and run, and he's like, I know you guys covered this up. If one of you spills the beans, you'll be protected. Champ's trying to steal my girl. He has a crush on Shireen. Champ tried to help cover up my hit and run. Then this is where Shireen says, Time did all this awful shit. Why aren't you investigating him? And then he's like, oh, okay, noted. And then we still don't see Time for this episode. Common gets an invitation from Sanjay to come to his little club where all the drugs are being dealt. And it's obviously a trap, but he's going to go anyway. And Captain Jade, refuses to let him do it alone. So, of course, he's coming along. They go to investigate Pui Fai's house, and they find out she had a dare card. It was the aforementioned, long story short, if you die, your friends will reveal their true colors. So they're like, oh, did she do that to herself? It's also revealed via her mom that Pui Fai was pregnant, but Belle took her to get an abortion. Again, they try to ask Jay if he knew anything about this, but not only did he not know that Pui Fai was pregnant, he also apparently had a one-night stand with her while she was with Champ. And Jade does not like that. He's like, why didn't you tell us this? I'm your brother. You should have come to me. He's like, I can't come to you for shit. You know, you never let me talk to you. And again, it hasn't really been gone into detail what their relationship is like, so I'm very curious to see. They're in the club now. Just look at the hair watch here. He is rounding the corner with his hair already, brushed through. Again, I'm not complaining. I'm just pointing out because I find it very fun. Also, whatever he's got going on here. Inspector Yu and his partner Lee show up. I'm sure this is a cameo of some sort that I don't recognize. And he's obviously awkward about it, and Common is jealous about it. But they're like, whatever, take these earpieces. We'll communicate you if anything goes wrong during the mission. Within 5 seconds of the two splitting up, this lackey shows up with a gun, and he's like, I'm taking you to see the boss. This is Sanjay. He brings in Common. He tries to bribe him, but Common's having none of it. And he's like, I will arrest you for all your nefarious deeds. What will he do? Will he kill Common in return? We don't know yet because we're interrupted by Tonkla and this random dude. Tonkla's at the mechanic shop he works at. Okay, I'm gonna leave you alone for the night because that's what you want. LOL. He's like, okay, sure. And obviously something bad is about to happen, which it immediately does. The mass perpetrator shows up while he's under a car and hits him with a crowbar. Like, truth, did you do terrible things to Pui Fai? And Tonkla says no. So he's stuck under the car. So the perpetrator, lowers the car to almost squish him. And he's like, tell me the truth. He's like, fine, yes, I did. And the masked dude is like, go rot in hell with the money that you sold Pui Fai out for. And then he gets crushed to death under the car. They are doing a piss poor job at protecting these students. I thought they were supposed to be guards, but whatever. We're back with Sanjay and Common, and this happens. Bravo, you immediately got disarmed. Good job. He clicks on the TV to reveal that Jade is being led into a boxing ring where if he loses the match, he dies. Common is like, okay, I'll make you a bet. If my guy wins, you tell me the truth. But if your guy wins, then I will resign. So Jade has to fight this beefcake of a man. And he will also probably be shirtless next episode while fighting. Woo. I also feel the need to point out that he got beat up like 2 days ago. And he really shouldn't be doing this again. But like I said, he had no visible wounds. So he'll be fine. So yeah, like I said, a lot of stuff happened. Someone else is now dead, but they're going to sleep in the same bed together probably next episode. So that's exciting. The tone is kind of all over the place, but that's okay. I still enjoy this show, and I enjoy recapping it for you all, and I hope you enjoy my recap. Things in the world are not great right now, and I won't get into it, but I just hope that I can provide some moment of joy whenever I can. I'll talk to you soon.